Welcome to today's episode of the Group X podcast. I'm your host, Tony Zanardo. And if you haven't yet done so, please head over to the website and take a look. It's groupx.com.au. Today, I'll be talking to Brayden Kelly, trainer and presenter for Les Mills International. We discuss stage confidence, creating what you want and not what you perceive people want. Self-belief is important. So grab your favourite beverage, sit back and enjoy the podcast. Brayden, thank you so much for coming on the show and having a chat with me, mate. It's good to see you.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Mate, all good. Hey, I hope you've had an awesome day.
Next question.
Yeah.
No, certainly have. Every day is a good day.
Good,
Every day is
good. Mate, we're just gonna right from the top get into this. How did you get into the fitness industry?
Oh, okay. Here we go. So my journey started when I was quite young. So I was playing state grade tennis between the ages, I'd say between, 13 up to about 16.
Yep.
Playing once, sometimes twice a day, and training as well. So part of a penance team, was captain of the penance team, played for many seasons, and traveled all around WA playing tennis. Loved the sport. And towards the end of my last season, I injured my knee, and I didn't really follow it up with what happened. Didn't go see a physio or anything like that. Just thought I would take the break and then just return the next season. Obviously, being young, I had my first casual job at the fish and chip shop, which was just down the end of my street.
Yep.
And I was always a bigger kid. Definitely not athletic or lean, but tennis definitely obviously helped me kind of form a bit of fitness. But so I went from training almost twice a day, 5 days a week with tennis, to nothing and working at a fish and chip shop where we would be given free chips and food all the time. So I packed on the weight.
Yep.
So I actually became quite overweight. So I think when I was just 16, I weighed triple digits, which was a lot for me back then,
wow.
With no muscle.
Yep.
So
yep.
That was all fat, and that's okay. Working at the fish and chip shop, my friend at the time was a international model, and she'd be flown all around the world, and she would come back and do some school and work at the fish and chip shop. And one of the ways that she would keep fit was going to the gym and doing a BODYATTACK class. And so my friend said to me this one night at the fish and chip shop, said that I imagine it would have been quite a difficult chat for her, actually. She said, what's happening with tennis? Like, you used to love playing tennis, you used to be so fit. And I think she obviously knew I'd put on some weight. So she sold BODYATTACK to me like this. She said, why don't you come to the gym and do this cardio class? It's basically like a game of tennis, because you do this track where you split the room and you do all these ladder runs and drills. I was like, fuck yeah, let's go. All right, cool. So along I go to the gym, and I walked out up to the push-up track, which is halfway through because I was struggling.
Yep.
So left halfway through, but absolutely fell in love with it there and then.
Excellent.
So that was a Monday night class.
Yep.
And then next week I went back and stayed for the whole thing, and I was just at the back, uncoordinated, having no idea what I was doing. At the age of, I was 15 actually. I was 15 at this time, and I know that I almost lied on my Les Mills registration form of my age to do my training, because I was like, maybe if I just say I'm a year older, I can go do my training. But nonetheless, I waited till I was 16. Yep. So that's kind of how I started in the fitness industry, or Les Mills specifically. But prior to that, it was more around playing tennis is where I found my love for fitness and exercise.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's, I haven't heard tennis yet. Out of everybody that I've had a chat to, tennis hasn't been where they started. Weirdly enough, tennis is where I started. My story still hasn't come out yet, and I'm still trying to find someone to interview me as well. But this isn't about me; it's about you. But I hear you with tennis, man. I played tennis from the age of 5 through to God, 15 or 16 when I started working at Myer or Grace Brothers back then. So, yeah, that's cool.
Amazing sport. And look, I mean, hindsight's a wonderful thing, and we can say what if all the time. But if I could go back, I would pursue it so much harder than I did and start 10 years earlier. I love the sport, have so much respect for it, and still play. I try to play at least once a week, once a fortnight as well. Yeah.
Love that. Nice work. So a fish and chip shop as well, mate. That's a good one.
I remember when I had to resign from my casual job as a 16-year-old, because it was all very official business back then, very important.
Yes.
I remember saying to my boss, sorry, it's just, it's quite unhealthy for me to work here, and I'm going to go work at Subway instead.
Yep. Yeah. There's a difference there. Yes.
Absolutely. Yep. I think he had to hold back a bit of a smirk or a giggle, but yeah. So
well done. Oh, I love it. So how did you get into teaching from
so
that?
what happened from there? So I guess, I mean, I'm not really good with years and dates and ages and stuff, but I do know I was pre-16 when I joined the gym.
Yep.
And bless my parents, my mum would drop me off at the gym in the morning, and then I would do a class, shower at the gym, catch a bus to school, then catch a bus back to the gym and do another class after, and then my mum or dad would pick me up afterwards and drive me home.
That's
great.
And
so I was doing, the support was amazing. So was doing that for a while, and surprisingly, I thought I got to a point, I got the polar heart rate monitor, and I was like measuring how hard I was working. I became really competitive, and I liked that, because that's what I liked about tennis, like the competitive nature. And but rather than it being like a team sport or like an actual sport, it was something I could still measure.
Yeah.
So I moved from Body Attack to spin and body combat first. So my very, very first group fitness training was freestyle spin.
Yep.
With Le Mans Fitness.
Wow.
The yellow spin bikes.
Yes.
And I won the jersey on my training for being the most new and up and coming.
Excellent.
Which was basically, I felt like it was just like a courtesy prize thrown out to the crowd. Whoever catches it, it's like a bouquet at a wedding kind of vibe, like, oh, you do. No disrespect, but and I did that training because back then I was at a gym where spin, not RPM, but freestyle spin was huge. Like 90-minute Saturday classes, he'd rock up and the instructor was in like the one piece, and then he would leave on his bike and ride back home. So cycle was a really big, had a really big following at that gym at that time, which was cool. And I found I could get my heart rate higher in spin than I could in body attack.
Yep.
And so me just being the age I was and as competitive as I was, I leaned towards that. And also there was no age requirement on the training.
Yes.
So I did that before I was 16. And it was hard because the community, because our gym community had such a emphasis and passion for cycle, it was really hard. There was a big barrier to entry to getting into teaching a class, especially then at the fact that I was a child.
Yep.
So my first ever permanent class was a 7:30 Monday night spin class, and being freestyle, I think my first mix, I think I taught every track identically in the same sequence for like 6 months. And I was just like, I was living my best life. I thought I was great, but in reality, it was not. And so I started with freestyle spin. And then fell in love with body combat. So that was my very first module training, was on body combat 42.
Wow.
Yeah.
Where are we at with combat these days? I'm not up to date with release numbers. Do you know where we are with combat?
Neither am I.
No, okay.
So that tells you how my body combat career went.
Yes.
So it was a huge module back in the days where we did 3 days, so Saturday, Sunday, the following Sunday.
Yep.
Well, we've kind of gone full circle because we do 3 days now. There's just 8 weeks in between.
Yes.
So I had the warm-up track of Body Combat 42. And it would be 12 years ago, I think, 12, 13 years ago.
Now, was that when they still had the sound effects? Or had the sound effects been moved out of the releases by then?
There was a few releases, I think, that still had sound effects.
The bell and the whoosh, or different.
Cha-ching!
Yes, yeah.
Pow! Yeah, so like I said, I don't know what release Body Combat's up to now, but I loved it, and I was fortunate enough to launch Combat at that same gym that I started at. So
Beautiful.
they didn't have Combat on the timetable,
Yep.
and I launched it, and I'm really proud to say I fucking nailed it. Like I just grabbed group fitness with both hands and
Yep.
just went for it. And like I have found over the years videos of me teaching, and I look at it and I'm just appalled at my technique and what I thought was back in the day I thought I was killing it, but I
Yep.
absolutely wasn't. But that's what happens when you're 16, 17 years of age.
Mate, this is in WA, right?
Yeah. So down at a gym called Body Power, down in Mandurah. So Mandurah is about just under an hour south of the city,
Yep.
and still definitely has like country vibes. So
Yes.
an hour
Yes.
out of the city in Perth is quite a fair distance,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
So launched Combat, and it went off. And I guess that gave me my first bit of confidence in group fitness, because the first opportunity I had was teaching freestyle spin. And like I said, there was that huge barrier to entry, and I got
Yep.
knocked back. And I remember the owner of the gym who taught the spin classes was like, it's going to take years, and you're a bit too young to be having your own like peak time slot. So, just give it time, keep participating, yeah. But not in a supportive growth way.
Yep.
It was quite a limiting, like it was an exclusive club that I wasn't yet invited to,
Yep.
and earned my stripes. So what I am fortunate about is, or grateful for, is they did go out on a whim and purchase the Body Combat license, and
Yep.
I ran that.
Cool.
And I think within 3 months we had like a booking system because the classes were booked out.
Wonderful.
I was like one of the only classes that was booked out,
mate.
On the entire timetable.
It shows that even though they weren't willing to give you the spin class, that they saw something in you. They still saw
Correct.
something in you in order for them to turn around and go, hey, man, you know what? Yeah, you've gone and done the training of this program. It's brand new. Come on, get in here and do it. We know you're going to be able to do it. So, mate, well done.
Yeah.
I like hearing those stories.
Yeah. So I guess that's my introduction to Les Mills was, obviously through participating in Body Combat, Body Attack, trained in Body Combat, then I trained in Body Attack on release 69.
Yep.
Had track 9, and I was my trainer for Combat was Dave Baines, I think his name was. He was a trainer in WA for quite a while.
Okay.
Huge module. I think we had like 16 people or something, like the max numbers.
Yep.
And our current presenter for Combat in WA, Dave Moritz.
Yes.
We did the module together.
Okay.
So I trained with Dave.
With Dave. Yep.
Yep. And then so Body Attack was released 69, and Kylie Gates was my trainer for that.
Yep.
Back in the day, had no idea who she was. I was just like, cool. Like, no clue.
But that's I'm going to say that's probably the best way to go into a module. If you don't know who they are, you have no expectations.
Completely naive. No idea what I was doing. No idea. I was just and Claire Thompson as well, who was very heavily involved in Body Attack, was doing. She was running components of the module to get signed off as a trainer as well. Yeah. So that was my Body Attack module. Then from there, I trained CX Works, or now Les Mills Core.
Yes.
And I kind of ran those three. Like I taught those 3 programs for quite a long time before I ventured into other programs later on.
This is the Group X podcast. Let me take you back to Body Combat, your first training module. Now, you'd obviously done spinning before, but that was a freestyle program, so they don't actually give you choreography to learn. They teach you how to develop a program and how to make up your own choreography and do all that. I get that. How was Combat for you? How was that experience of walking into a module for the first time, then had so many, I suppose, procedures and things in place that would have been a bit foreign?
Yeah, I cast my mind back, and I think prior to going to the module, I had built quite a good community and support network around me doing the module as well, from existing body combat instructors at different clubs because, like I said, we hadn't launched combat at the club I was teaching at. So I would travel up to Rockingham and do a body combat class up there. And it was really supportive. So even though I rocked up to the module not knowing anyone, I felt support from my local gym, which was quite nice.
Yep.
And they just, I guess the community encouraged me, or my friends encouraged me just to go in and learn as much as I can. And this was a day, like, you would rock up and get everything on the day, like your kit. But obviously I was participating for months before and learning and, trying to wrap my head around it.
Yeah.
I will admit I never struggled.
Yep.
I never struggled with timing. I didn't struggle with wrapping my head around the concept. I just listened and applied.
Because combat's not an easy program to learn from what I'm hearing. I've only ever.
I was obviously fierce. Like, I thought I could fight anyone after that module. Never done any martial arts in my entire life. I walked out, I was like, who wants to fight me?
I'll punch the air in front of you.
But just play the music first so I can stay on beat. But yeah, so it was. I liked the challenge physically of the module training, like the body combat challenge and all that kind of stuff. I think on the day after day 2, we went out for dinner afterwards, and I was like, "This is great! Like, it was such a different feel to the freestyle training that I had done."
Yep.
Yeah, and you kind of look at Les Mills and the values, and the more holistic approach to what Les Mills delivers, rather than just here's how to create a freestyle class. Nothing against freestyle, obviously.
Yep.
But I think I just liked that there was a bit of a bigger picture as well.
Totally. I mean, if you look back when freestyle was around and chatting to Sharon Susi, freestyle classes today are based around the same principles, but are so different in 2022 compared to what they were in even 2003, 2002. Way back then, 20 years ago, it's so different. But I think that obviously, and Les Mills has brought in a program or their model that works for instructors. It takes away a lot of the hard work, as in they don't need to sit there and work on the choreo. That's why we've got our head program coaches or the program directors. But then it allows them to actually connect with the people in front of them properly. They don't have to think about other stuff. They can just put it all together and, here's my layer 1, 2, 3, here's my choreo, this is what I've got to say, and I can connect with you and personalize it with you rather than have my mind full of crap, what was I doing next again? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's very different in that way, but I think it had to happen.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, like, back to, I don't teach a lot of programs now, but I think back to when I had probably 4 or 5 on my plate, and come new release time, just the anxiety and the stress of learning it all and getting it right. But then on the flip side, could you imagine trying to do that for freestyle? It would never end.
Yeah.
Like, at least once you've kind of learnt it, and it's kind of like that muscle memory mentality, kind of, you can go back to a release or a track, and your body almost understands 80% of it. It's just that extra 20% that you need to fine tune by looking at the notes or the masterclass or whatever, and the fact that you got resources. I'm such an organized person. So I have every choreography booklet for every release itemized in my iCloud, not even on the Les Mills app. It's organized in I download the music and put it in my phone, I don't use the app, but I go as far as changing the name of the track. So for example, Body Attack, I'll go BA-01. So if I'm looking for a warm-up, I just search -01 and all the warm-up songs come up. So I change, and so that's how organized I am. And so freestyle was never going to work for me. It was never going to work because it's just a bit too chaotic for me.
Yeah. Mate, I used to do the exact same thing before it was digital download with the CD and DVD kits. I would be uploading it into iTunes, and that's exactly how I do it. RPM 50-01, RPM 50-02. So I knew what release, what track it was. So that exactly, I'm looking for a track 2. Bang. Okay, there it is. Yeah, that one. Yeah, it was easy. You had to do it. I mean, especially then I was teaching close to 15, 16 classes a week of RPM back then. I was trying to change it up every second class because I was that I was getting bored, but I wanted the people in front of me to have a different Every time I went in there, it was a different release, no matter what. There could have been one track from what we did yesterday or the day before or last time you were in here last week, but I wanted to make sure that every time I went in, it was different to keep them on their toes and keep them entertained as well.
And I think we need to acknowledge that keeps instructors engaged as well.
Yes.
And you, like, from a participant's point of view, when you rock up to a class, you want an instructor that wants to be there and is excited to teach, right? And if you're teaching 15 classes a week, which I've never done and could never do, so credit to you.
I was a hell of a lot fitter 20 years ago.
Yeah, just burnt toast. That's all that pops to my head when I think of 15 classes. Burnt toast, overcooked. But you know, there are people that do that, and that is absolutely okay. And I think, you know, they're the superheroes of the industry that can manage that. And I know, obviously, you know, different programs have different intensities as well. But when I think about the ones I was teaching back when I was, you know, kind of really in the fitness industry, was BODYATTACK, Grit, CX Works, Body Combat, and Pump.
You've just named 4 or 5 high intense programs or strength programs where that was not saying that I ever faked the resistance style, not ever saying that I ever did that, no, but no,
I will admit that I have, absolutely. I have no shame in saying that. And I have always loved training hard. And I think if you ask any participant in any of my classes that anyone that does my classes, that is probably one of the first things that they'll say is that I train very, very, very hard in my classes. I never take the piss, and that's why I can't teach. Not saying that, that's why I don't teach a lot, because when I do teach, I want to give it my all.
Look, when I was teaching when I started in 2003, the first 4 or 5 years is when I was really smashing myself. But I was also building a name for myself as well. I wanted to be Tone on the bike, but also if they enjoyed the class, they'd come and do personal training with me as well. And that's what I was trying to build. You know, I was working from 5 a.m. till 9 p.m. You know, people were doing the 9 to 5. I was doing the 5 to 9.
It was I think it actually might have been in the podcast you had with Lee. You were talking about the marriage between personal training and group fitness and how there's always been a bit of a disconnect. I caught on to that quickly. And so I was a personal trainer. So during year 12, I had a choice of, I did like TE back in the day instead of ATAR, it was called TE. I did TE in year 11 when I was kind of not fit. And then in year 12, when fitness became my passion, I changed all my subjects to all the outdoor ed and phys ed and human bio and stuff like that. But because I had, I dropped out of the TE and I enrolled in Cert 3 and 4 in fitness during year 12. And so when I graduated high school, I also had a cert. I was a personal trainer as well. So went straight into that gym working as a personal trainer, and I picked up so many clients from my classes.
Mate, I still baffled at the amount of PTs that I used to work with. They were like, "Well, what are you doing those classes for?" Why do you think I'm doing those classes, guys? Like, that's my audience, my captive audience right in front of me. If they enjoy what I'm teaching, they're going to come and do PT.
I think like back in the day, I didn't have the insight to that model though. So I would teach classes just loving the fact that I'm teaching, and people would come up and ask if I'm a personal trainer, and I'd be like, of course, here's my card, let's go. You know, and so it just happened organically, which was great. But back to the point of like, I always train very, very, very hard in my classes, and that's why I've never taught. I don't think I've ever had more than 7 classes a week.
No, I like that. That's it's healthy, it's wise, and I think
and it's longevity.
Yes, that was the next one I was going to pop out. Was that you're going to get longevity in what you're doing. You're not going to do that, as we're saying, burn out the burnt toast. You know, there's a reason why I left and stopped doing what I was doing. One, I got an opportunity to work at Les Mills head office, but I'd also, the last 6 months before I went to work for Les Mills in Canberra, I hated being a PT. I hated teaching classes. I got to the stage where I didn't want to drag people through life anymore. I'd be getting phone calls or SMSs on a Saturday night from clients saying, "Oh, is it okay if I go and have a couple of beers and eat a pizza or a kebab on the way home?" I'd be like, "What do you think? Seriously, what do you bloody think? Come on, wake up to yourself." And by the end of it, I was like, you know what? No, can't do this. And grateful that I had the opportunity when we went to Canberra that I managed to teach 3 classes, a Monday, a Wednesday and a Friday. and loved it and fell in love with it again.
Yeah.
Different people,
I
different crew, different atmosphere, the whole lot.
yeah.
And yeah, it worked.
And I think just thinking back on my own story, I never loved being a personal trainer.
Yep.
Like I I had a body attack class that I only just had to give up recently, like within the last 2 months. And I've been teaching that for 10 years, and it's 5:50 a.m. on a Friday morning. Rain, hail, or shine, whatever the season, whatever the weather, whatever was going on for me, I had no problems getting up at 4:20 every Friday and teaching that class.
Jesus.
And that, when I think of that, I'm like, that is just pure love.
Yeah.
I just loved what I did.
Yeah.
But with personal training, very quickly, I realized it wasn't for me.
Yep.
And like, you look at personal training, you can almost like, it kind of retrofits to that freestyle model as well. Like personal training, I had to think about it. I had to think about what I was doing for them. I had to have a plan, a program, progression, look not just for now, but, 6 to 8 weeks time. And I didn't like it.
Yeah.
I liked walking in, knowing exactly what I had to do the job, and then you're done.
Mate, I agree with you.
Yeah.
I never had PT clients first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it. I'd get on a bike, I'd go and teach class, boxing class or an RPM class, because there was music. I was happy. There was motivating. There was a group of people. We could do that one-on-one.
Yeah.
At 5 o'clock in the morning.
And like, I don't shy away from acknowledging that there's always something in it for us.
Yeah.
I like training.
Yep.
I like exercising.
Yep.
And I'm of the mentality, train, teach, don't teach, train, right?
Yes. Yep.
So that means that you'll find me in the gym every morning doing my own weights and my own cardio, but I also do classes, right? But you can't rely on your classes to be your only form of exercise.
Correct.
But we need to acknowledge that it is, and
Yeah.
you get something out of it.
Yes, you
And
do.
so that's probably why it is easy to get up and get onto a bike or go and teach a body attack class, because at the end of the day, at the end of that workout, you're fulfilled as well. You get the endorphins, you get the release, you get the good feels and the connection as well.
Yeah. This is the Group X podcast. How did you get the opportunity to become a trainer presenter?
How did that happen? So back in the days when we had super workshops, we would Perth would host them at Curtin University, big stadium, big basketball stadium, with the stage and the lights and the whole kit and caboodle. And I just remember participating in a body attack masterclass. It was back in the days when Kylie was still in Perth. We had Tanya, Phil Priest, Claire Thompson. I actually think maybe Steve Clough had come over or something like that, and Nathan Jones, who was the head program coach at the time. And I just participated front row center, just giving zero fucks about what anyone thought. New to body attack, new to Les Mills. I'm like, I'm just going to stand here. Sure, why not? But not in an arrogant sense, just in a naive sense. Just had no clue.
Yep.
No clue about how the whole thing worked. And I think it was Claire Thompson that messaged me on Facebook Messenger, I think a couple of days after the masterclass, and just said, moving well. And that's all it took. Someone to say moving well, and someone that I highly regarded, who I respect so much, and who I thought was an absolute master when it came to body attack. And so through that conversation, I think Claire said something along the lines, just keep training hard, or keep training hard, who knows what will happen. So just alluded to the fact that she saw potential in me, basically. And I'd never thought about being a presenter before that. Didn't even cross my mind.
Yep.
Never was I participating, thinking I want to be up there. I just thought it was cool. So from that, I enrolled in AIM 1, followed by AIM 2. And I remember AIM 1 was brutal because Kylie made me do ice skaters up and down the group fitness room for like 5 minutes because I had weak glute activation or something like that and had terrible techniques. You know, that was bad. Obviously, it's a touchy point because I still remember that out of anything. I remember that. So I did my AIM 1, and then I think 6 months later I did AIM 2. And with AIM 2, I got the opportunity to shadow a workshop.
Cool.
And my first body attack class that I shadowed was body attack 75, noting that I trained on 69.
Yep. Well done.
So it was a very quick transition.
Yeah.
Very quick transition. And I think in that year, not only did I do the AIM 1 and AIM 2 for body attack, but I trained in X Works, and I think Grit came out not too long after that as well. But maybe not in the first 2 years there. But yeah, so it was quite condensed, my progression from training to shadowing. But it was a long time as a shadow. I think I shadowed for a year before I was offered a track.
Yeah.
And that was it was like a prove your worth.
Totally. Yeah, you got to earn your stripes.
Earn your stripes.
Yeah.
And earn your place. And you know, there was another person that was offered the same shadowing opportunity as me as well. And so we kind of went through that together. It was a bit brutal at the end. Kind of got to a point where it was like choose one or the other.
Yep.
And I was the one that was chosen.
Yep. Mate, I saw a similar thing happen with my wife. Yep. A similar journey with that and that whole thing.
So fun story. Rach, and was it, I can't remember her name, Yvonne, maybe.
Yes, Yvette Katana.
Yvette.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure we shadowed the same quarter. We started at the exact same time shadowing body attack.
Yes. And if my mind serves me correctly, the Filex in Sydney
was her first shadow.
Yeah.
Same.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, because that was just prior to me starting with Les Mills in Canberra.
Were you New South Wales based then?
No, so I did that at that quarterly at that Filex, I was still working for Fitness First. I hadn't actually left to even start. I hadn't even had my interview with Les Mills prior to that.
So were you guys based in Sydney then?
Yes, we're based in Leichhardt in Sydney at that stage.
Yeah.
So
it would have been New South Wales presenter shadows on one podium, and then it would have been the WA guys on the other podium on the other side. Yeah, literally. Yeah. So
there's still photos we've got on Facebook that pop up every so often. You know, those yearly things that pop up, the memory thing. And I look at that and I think, you know what, I remember being down there in the crowd with my camera, having that proud husband moment. She wasn't my husband. Oh, I wasn't her husband then, but that was that proud moment of going, holy crap, look at you. Yeah. Look at you go.
Yeah.
But well done, mate. I love hearing that because it shows your character as well. It shows the I hate this word because it's thrown around too much, but authenticity around you and where you've come from and that journey to show, you know what, things happen to the right people for the right reasons.
Yeah. And I have just had the best career with Les Mills. I love it. And I still love it to today. And I look at the other aspects of my life, like I'm a professional. I work in corporate banking full time, which is a very, very fast-paced, stressful environment. And I think back to like the classes and the modules and the events, and I just think it kept me grounded, and it also built resilience. And I say this to my classes sometimes too. I'm like fight your battles in here, so the ones out there are easier.
Yeah.
And I'm a big believer
such a good one.
I'm such a believer that, you know, stress and cortisol and anxiety and all that kind of stuff, right? If we can manipulate and bring that into a group fitness class in a controlled, safe way, but push yourself and stress yourself out, your body doesn't understand the difference between stress in an exercise class or stress of everyday life. Yeah. So if you want to be better equipped to deal with stress in your everyday life, whether it was work, relationships, whatever, train yourself to deal with it in a controlled environment. And that's why, I think I've always loved training so hard as well, because I'm like, if I can challenge myself in here, if I can do this at this intensity here, I can handle anything out there. Yeah. You know, and so I think that's a bit of the mentality behind my training attitude.
Yep.
But you mentioned the word authenticity, and I want to confess and acknowledge that I was not authentic for a very long time as a presenter
Why?
because my dare I say rise to fame happened very quickly.
Yep.
And I think what happens when you're very young, very new to the industry, and develop quite quickly, I think I developed a bit of an imposter syndrome where I tried to replicate what I saw rather than create what I want.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. And I look back now and I see that so clearly. And I think about when I present over probably the last 3 or 4 years now, because I like BODYATTACK 75, we're on 116 now. So,
Yep.
I've been presenting, what's that, 9 years or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yep.
I look back to those first, I would say, 4 to 5 years, and I just think I tried so hard to be someone that I wasn't. I tried so hard to impress other people that I thought were looking or wanted me to be a particular way. And it was actually after BODYATTACK 100 filming, which was not that long ago, 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was after that I realized, cool, you can follow all the rules, you can follow all the guidelines, you can teach to impress other people, but it's not going to get you anywhere if you're not authentic and you don't teach how you want to teach. I remember walking down a street in Amsterdam, and that hit me like a ton of bricks. And it was a day after filming.
That's a massive realization, a massive self-realization.
You mentioned the word authenticity, and it took me a while to get there. It took me a while to become confident on stage because I had such a quick and rapid transition from instructor to presenter.
Yep.
And I think I might have rubbed a few shoulders the wrong way as well, because there was a lot of actors that have been gunning for those positions for years. And here's this new young kid on the block who's just walked in there. But it was me, and I earned my spot, and I love my spot. And for the people that did have faith in me back then, like, just in terms of Les Mills, what an investment. I've been, with the company nearly 10 years, and I absolutely love it. And I bring my best all the time. I really do. But it takes a while to find that authentic self on stage. It really does. And there's no quick way there.
Yeah.
There's no secret. There's no shortcut. It's almost a school of hard knocks and patience.
Yep.
And sometimes there will need to be a moment where you get feedback, or you hear something that upsets you.
Yep.
Or makes you take a step back and just review the whole situation, or look at it from a different lens.
Yeah.
And that's where my realization happened around being authentic and not ticking boxes to impress someone else.
Yep.
But from that moment on, my purpose was to teach the best class to the people in front of me.
Yeah.
And that wasn't in front of the cameras, or when it was going to be filmed and put on a DVD. It was the people that were rocking up to my 5:50 a.m. BODYATTACK class who actually needed the class.
Yeah.
And that became my purpose. And when I sat in that, I taught my best classes.
Yep.
And I've had my best career probably since then.
This is the Group X podcast. You touched on filming just then, so I want to go down that path as well. Obviously, you've done some filming. Which filmings have you been on? What have you done?
Yes, so I was very fortunate to be invited to present BODYATTACK 100 that we filmed in Amsterdam. That was in 2017, just before my 25th birthday.
Awesome.
Yeah, so
nice.
Actually we filmed in October, the week before my 25th, and then I traveled through Europe for a month afterwards.
Beautiful.
So that was just such a highlight for me, teaching teaching Body Attack 100. I think there was about just over 2,000 people in the class.
Wow.
And it was in what I imagine was a heritage listed building. It used to be an old flour factory, and it was a circular room. So the stage was circular, the room was circular.
I've seen some photos. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to know what's really, really confusing? Teaching a class to a circle. Where's the front? Where's the back? Where's the left, the right? And I will never forget this. And because the stage was illuminated from underneath, they couldn't put anything on the stage because it would stick out like a sore thumb.
Yeah.
So you never really knew where the center was. All we had was the camera, and right above the camera was this big, like, look here, like this is the camera. This is the center of the room.
Yeah.
And I remember running up onto the stage for my track in Body Attack 100 and instantly so disorientated. The adrenaline of the moment and the energy in the room is just nothing I think I'll ever experience again. And it gives me goosebumps just thinking about it. Like, the best moment of my life was running up those stairs to begin my track. Right?
Yep.
And I remember saying all this, like, split the room, you go this way, you go this way. And then I looked up to start my track, and I was like, fuck, the camera's here. And I was just so disorientated. But jumped on it straight away. And I think that just shows a good preparation, and backing yourself as well has the ability to get you through some really stressful, tense situations. So yeah, I team taught a track with Steve Clough from Australia as well. Taught a track 7 for Body Attack 100, which was an amazing experience. And then I also shadowed Body Attack 108, which was filmed in Sydney.
Yes, the big one.
Yeah,
just before lockdown or whatever it was.
It was, which was another incredible experience. And what's so amazing about being on a DVD is not necessarily the DVD itself, because that's stressful. Like it's a lot of work, and it's a lot of pressure. And you're given the song, you're given a rough plan of the choreography, and it's like, you do what you want with this. And so, you're used to reading the choreography notes and saying, oh, this is my track focus, and this is my purpose, and this is what I'm going to do here. But when you're on a DVD, that becomes your job. You are the track focus. How you interpret that track is how it's rolled out. You know how I was talking about not liking freestyle? I then became the freestyle, like, figuring out the track, piece it together. How do you want to approach this? But it was good because we did team teach that track, so we kind of pieced it together as a team throughout the week. And I look back at that moment, and while teaching the track was amazing, it was the lead up to it, and it was the experience. And I know you've spoken to a few other presenters that have been on DVDs, and they say, it's not just that moment. It's the week before, the friends you make, the experiences that you go through together. It's so incredible.
It's a journey that. Do you believe you're a different or a better instructor for going through the filming process?
Yes, I am, and I know why. Because I remember we were rehearsing in a basketball court for the Body Attack 100 filming in Amsterdam, and we had sticky tape, or it was like masking tape on the floor to outline the size of the stage, so we knew kind of like we could get our bearings. And when we would practice our track, I started the track, so I had the track introduction. And I kind of kick-started things. And in rehearsals, Lisa Osborne would stand in front of us with her hands on her hips, not in an intimidating way, but just in a Lisa Osborne way, like a cheeky, like, mum vibe that wants you to do really well, but has high expectations. Like, kind of like a soccer mum that's not sitting down and having a glass of wine. She's up watching, like, just making sure you're performing. And she made me deliver my track introduction, I reckon, 10 times. So I'd run up onto the stage, which was just masking tape on the basketball court, and deliver my track introduction. She'd go, stop, no, don't believe it. Start again. And I had to repeat and repeat and repeat until she felt I was energetic enough for that track. And it wasn't, when I watched the final product, I was so proud of how I did that. And that was a result of her coaching. But it was also in that rehearsal space, it was a lack of my own confidence. I didn't have the confidence just to lean in and absolutely grasp rehearsals with both hands
Yep.
because I was like nervous around all these other, there was like 40 people, I think, all up on that
I'd
DVD.
say, yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
because there were from people from all different countries,
Yes.
2-3 presenters from all different countries, right?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I remember after that, I have always known to nail your track introduction and
Yep.
come out with confidence and just absolutely own it because
Yeah.
of that moment. Yeah.
Yep. No, I like hearing that. There's a couple of you guys that I've had a chat to that have said the same sort of thing, that Lisa or whoever it may be, it's their program coach, is pushing you guys. No, I need more. Take it higher. So that on the day, you're going to drop it back anyway, but they need to see how far you can take it to go, you know what, cool, I know you can go there. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Now I just need to bring it back a little bit. That's where I need you to be.
I remember I actually got a bit frustrated, and I think it was the second time of doing that rinse repeat kind of track intro. I continued to run off the stage, which again, like I said, was masking tape on the floor, and picked Lisa up and moved her out the way, and I said, that will do. I just want to get on with my rehearsal. Enough of this shit.
Enough, Mum, enough.
Yeah. And Lisa's like this tall, like 5 foot or something like that. So it wasn't that hard to pick her up and move her out the way. What an absolute incredible experience filming BODYATTACK 100, and I still talk to many of the presenters that were on that DVD from all over the world, and it's how amazing is that? Like, how amazing is that? It's so cool. You make friends for life through Les Mills, and I've been to quite a few of the filmings in New Zealand when it was like a community coming together. You would all fly to New Zealand. You would book a hotel in the city and stay there for a week and go to all the rehearsal classes and do 15 classes in a week. Friends that I still have friends in New Zealand that I met through filming week that are on the DVD. I just went there to be a part of the filming, and it was absolutely amazing. I went to a GFX over there once. Filming is such an incredible experience.
I think the fitness, you say Les Mills, but I think also the fitness industry, you create lifelong friends. From the moment you walk into a gym, whether it can be someone at reception or your group fitness manager or group X manager or whatever it may be. I think those people make an impact in your life. I think back to 2002 when I first walked into a gym. The people that were so friendly, the instructors that I still have no idea who their names were. But everybody from that moment when you walk in is that community that they just make you feel, you know what? Yeah, you're welcome here. Anyone, any shape, size, whatever it may be, you are welcome in that space, and everyone's there doing the same thing. There's people that are a shitload fitter than you, but it doesn't matter. Yeah,
you're so right. And just talking about myself and what's kind of going on for me personally at the moment as well is I've had a huge change in my life. Like I said, Mandurah was quite a small town that I lived in, and I've just moved right into the CBD of Perth.
Wow.
Right, and
is this a recent thing?
Yeah, in the last 3 months.
Wow.
And I have given up all my classes, and in the process of re-establishing myself in new gyms. I don't have a permanent class at the moment. I definitely have regular classes that I can teach, so I stay current and fit and all that kind of stuff. But I have no permanent class to my name. And the first thing I did when I moved to the city was, right, what gym has Les Mills? And not for the purpose of teaching them, but for the purpose of community. Because I needed that. I needed to create new friends. I needed to create a new group. And I just absolutely knew where I needed to go to create that and to get that. And people that would be like-minded and aligned with my lifestyle and my outlook on life as well. And it delivered. I've been up here for, I think, since March, and I'm a member paying a gym membership for the first time in 8 years, Tony. I was like, how much are they now? Gosh, it's gone up since I was on the student membership, which was the last time I paid one. And I love it. I absolutely love it. I participate in BODYATTACK twice a week. I adore the instructor that teaches those classes. And yeah, like the community and the sense of family that comes from a gym that has Les Mills, or yeah, a gym just in general
Yeah.
is amazing.
Yeah.
And so, I'm so glad that I've got it.
Awesome, mate.
Yeah.
I'm awesome.
Yeah.
I too remember the moment I had to hand over my bank details to a gym after not paying one for close to 20 years, and then
Yeah.
all of a sudden it was like, it's monthly. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
How much? Oh,
I
yep,
don't know what
cool.
you're like, but I used to break everything up into how many classes I would need to do to pay for
Yes,
that.
yeah.
So I'm like, so if I can just teach one class a week, that'll pay for the membership. So
Yep.
that's all good.
No, I'm glad to hear that you've actually. How are you coping with Perth life anyway? Because it would be very different to Mandurah. I've been to Mandurah a couple of times when I was
Yeah.
doing my Les Mills stuff over there, and it is
So
it's a
I
country.
say Mandurah. It's I was 10, 15 minutes north of Mandurah in a very small suburb called Singleton.
Yep.
But nonetheless, the move has been great for my growth and my development,
Yep.
which was much needed. And so I'm leaning into it. I'm leaning into the change. I'm leaning into life going forward.
Good.
And
on
I adore my friendship circle that I've created at the gym.
Yep.
We went on a wine tour last weekend. 40 of us.
Holy
not
moly.
staff.
Yeah.
Not staff, by the way, members. This was a member organized wine tour, which had staff and participants.
Great.
That started at 10 a.m. and I got home at midnight.
Brilliant.
And it was amazing. So wholesome.
Yep.
So positive. Just great people, great community. And I actually think when I say all this, I'm like, that's actually quite rare for a gym. But like, the common thing is that group fitness, they're all group fitness participants.
Yeah. Yep.
It's so amazing.
Rachel and I haven't lived in Canberra now for almost 6 years, five and a half, 6 years. But we still get included in emails from the group of people that we met down there that are still organising. Oh, it's such and such's birthday lunch. We're going out here. We're doing that. We haven't been able to go to any for the last couple of years because Leah and other things happening in life. Yeah. But we still get invited all the time. They're coming up here in August. There's a group of 30 of them coming up here. Yeah. They're like, we haven't seen you guys in ages. We're coming up for lunch. Where are we going? We'll meet you in town. And we're like, cool. Well, that's they're just the community feel, the community that you get involved in. It's family for life. It's brilliant.
Yeah, and I would encourage any instructor to lean into it as well.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not all glamour. Like there are times when people tell you things that are quite heavy and they confide in you, or they maybe even ask a bit much.
Yep.
For what it entails or what it should involve.
Yep.
And I think it's because when we teach group fitness classes, we're quite positive and encouraging and motivating, right? And I think for some people, depending on what they're going through at that particular point in time, find comfort in that. And so, sometimes you do find yourself sitting on stage for half an hour afterwards talking about family and being a bit of a therapist and a best friend and a personal trainer and a doctor and all kinds of things. Oh, I've got this lump and this is happening. And it's like, okay, cool. Yep. Definitely just cert 3 in fitness.
Yeah.
Not a GP.
Not a doctor. Go and see your doctor, but I'm lovely chatting to you.
Yeah. Awesome. I'll see you next week.
Yeah.
So absolutely love it. I love the community of it. But so from there, I think my career with Les Mills then took another step after Lee Smith took some Perth trainers through a trial of Sprint, Les Mills Sprint.
Yep.
So I was invited along to attend, which was basically for the purpose of running the module as LMY had written it, and Lee would provide feedback on what worked, what didn't.
Yep.
So, there was, I can't remember how many there were, but it was only trainers and presenters that did that.
Yep.
And at the end, you got certified in the program, which was great.
Cool.
So participated in Les Mills Sprint for the first time and fell in love all over again with the new group fitness program, with the Les Mills program.
Excellent.
Les Mills Sprint. And it just, it ticked every single box. It was intense. It was hard. The music was amazing. It still is amazing. It was 30 minutes. It was in and out. And I actually really enjoyed the no impact side of things.
Yep.
As cliche as that sounds, because we sell sprinters like, oh, if you want high intensity without impact, you do sprint. But it is true. Like
Yes.
I can never get my heart rate up in body attack as high as I do in sprint.
Yep.
Remember back to where I started was I did spin because I could train harder in spin than I could in body attack. Right. So I'm like, my heart rate is limited by my physical ability in body attack, not my fitness.
Yeah.
You know, so did the trial module with Lee and was fortunate enough to be asked to present the program after that module when Sprint officially launched. And so it's on that I joined the Sprint team from day one, and then became the HPC of Sprint as well.
Oh wow!
For I think just over 2 years after Dallas stepped down for a little while. Yeah. So Dallas, I think, moved on to another company for a little while, and I took the opportunity to step into the HPC role, which was managing the trainers, the presenters across Australia and Southeast Asia, and that was my first taste at leadership.
Yep.
And rather than just having to worry about what I'm doing on the stage, it was having to worry about what everyone's doing on the stage, and how's this program perceived by the community and the instructors, and you know how the presenters going. So that was a really, really awesome opportunity that I had with Sprint, and thoroughly enjoyed running the team and engaging with the team. And you know, we had some difficult times because then we entered into COVID while I was still managing that team. So you know, there was periods where presenters weren't getting the opportunity to run workshops and stuff like that, which was quite tricky. So and then just recently have transitioned from the Sprint head program coach, or we call them team coach now, to the Body Attack team coach.
Oh, cool.
So
congratulations.
Thank you. So I'm the team coach for Body Attack now as well.
This is the Group X podcast. Let me ask a question around team coach position. Now, it doesn't matter which program, but how are you finding that? Now, I can't remember who I've said this to. I know I've said it to one of the guys. I see it very much like, and it could have actually been Nate Jones, I can't remember now, very much like a Group X manager. Yep. You've got a whole lot of personalities on your team in front of you. You've got to manage each personality differently because you can't manage the same. You can't just sort of go, right, this is how I do it, and you're all going to fall in line. How are you finding that role with all the different personalities that are trainers and presenters? Because let's be honest, you're all unique in your own way.
Absolutely. I love every single individual on my team.
Yep.
And I am fiercely encouraging every single person on my team to step into what makes them an individual and unique.
Yep.
And that's what I'm enjoying the most, is not advising to try to do X, Y, Z, but encouraging to, take that further.
Yep.
That's unique to you. I don't see that with anyone else.
Yeah.
Let's lean into that.
Yep.
Because that's what makes you special.
Yep.
And I think that comes from a place of me having that realization as well within my own teaching, and knowing that we can't all teach the same. So don't try to.
Yeah.
But instead, own what makes you unique and go with that.
Yeah.
You know? And so like I've got Eve on my team for Body Attack, and Eve has been on the team for quite a while, and how she teaches, I could never teach like Eve. I admire her so much. She is intense and fierce, but so nurturing and caring at the same time, and I don't get it. But that's because of all the things that Eve has done and gone through.
Yeah.
And I haven't, so I can't do that.
Yep.
So I respect that, and that's what makes our team so amazing, is because when Eve is on stage with another presenter, there's this holistic experience that is going to cater so many different needs, and it's going to come across in so many different ways, even if Eve has the same track as another presenter. So then we've got Josh as well in South Australia, and Josh is a pocket rocket. I've never seen anyone jump as high as Josh Farmer. I don't know what it is. Kind of jealous. And he's older than me as well, bastard. Which no one knows, but every opportunity I get to say that he's older than me, I do. But that's what I'm loving the most about the role, is just harnessing what makes all the presenters unique and just telling them to just keep dialing up.
Yep.
It's okay if the pendulum swings too far sometimes, because then when it lands back to a normal spot, it's somewhere a little bit further. You've developed a little bit further than when you first started, right?
Completely.
And that's what I'm enjoying. The team's really positive. They're fit as anything. And the previous head program coach or team coach, Steve, he was a taskmaster when it came to fitness. Like, we had to perform, and I respect that, and I love that, and I think it's true. Don't jump up on the stage if you can't walk the talk, right?
Completely.
So very grateful, because I've inherited an extremely fit team and an extremely capable team. And so now for me, it's just encouraging and nurturing what makes us all unique and sharing that. Yeah.
Awesome, mate. That's nice to hear, because the next question I was going to ask you is, what are you doing now? And you've just answered that for me, which is fantastic. So I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Look, there's a couple more questions, and then we'll wrap it up. There's 3 more questions I want to throw at you. The next one is, what does the future hold for you?
Oof. All right. Full honesty and transparency here. I have worked in finance since I was 18. And I'm turning 30 later on this year. And I'm going to quit my job probably March next year and travel the world for at least 6 to 12 months.
Good on you.
And I've thought about whether I want to work. And I've thought, no, definitely not in finance or corporate or anything like that. And I don't know how, I haven't looked into it, if the ability to teach group fitness classes is available to me, I will grasp that with both hands and teach as many gyms in as many countries as I possibly can. Definitely acknowledging that I'm English speaking only, so that's limited. But that's what the future holds for me. I'm ready to travel, ready just to kind of spice and shake things up a little bit. And
good on you.
Yeah,
mate. I don't regret anything I've done, but if I had the opportunity to travel, if the opportunity had ever brought itself to me, or I had thought that inkling in my head, I would have gone and done it. And I think anyone that does it, you're going to learn so much about you on your journey as well. Discover so much.
I'm excited for that. I'm excited just to learn about the world I live in, learn about who I am in that world. And
oh, mate, grasp that and go for it. I fully support you with that, and say, you know what? If you don't, you're an idiot. Just go and do it, man. Go. Yeah. Good on you. Awesome
But
stuff.
it's a perfect time as well. It's a perfect time. It couldn't have happened any earlier. And any later, I would have regretted not going sooner. It's the right thing. So,
Well, cool.
Next question.
So last 2. Now I'm just going to try and work on which way I want to throw these at you. Okay. We might stick with down the instructor side of things. So what bit of advice can you give to an instructor that might be listening who wants to improve or look to move into a similar role to what you're doing now in the trainer presenter space?
Put in the work.
Yep.
You don't get anything for free.
Mate, I love that. It's simple.
So again, living in Mandurah, I would drive to Innaloo, which was an hour and 5-minute drive every Wednesday morning. I think it was It was a 6 a.m. body attack class that I had to be there for. And I think I drove up there. Wasn't every single week, but it was consistent for a year to teach with Kylie Gates and Tanya to learn over an hour one way. Put in the work. If you want to be a presenter, if you want to be a trainer, and that's your goal, absolutely. You need to reach out. You'll need to team teach with people that you respect and aspire to be like, and learn from them, because that's what I did. That's what I did. And then just be yourself. There's nothing more appealing than an instructor that is confident on stage being who they are and owning it. That's all you got to do.
Yep. No, I like it. Straight to the point. And guys, if you're listening, listen and take it on board. Yep. Be you.
There's
Be
you know
you.
there's the technical aspect of needing to go through the right module trainings and
Of course,
do
yes.
the right things.
Yeah.
But all that
Yeah.
is what they will look for is that people
Yeah.
that want to put in the work and the people that are authentic.
Yeah.
You know?
You've got to tick the boxes and go through the right channels, but you need to, if you're looking for what else can I do and where else can I, what skills can I hone in on, just hone in on you. You need to be teaching, and I've said this, or people have said this to me as well, teach to who's in front of you on that, you know, that Tuesday night, 5:30 or Monday morning, whatever time it is, just teach to those in front of you. That's where it's going to come from. That's that place, as you're saying, of authenticity is right there in front of you. If they're loving you, you know you're ticking boxes. Yeah, being you, being 100% you, stay in your lane and do you.
Absolutely. And respect to the model and ticking boxes. I spent quite a few years ticking boxes, and it was important and it was necessary because it builds your skill set. Because when you are thrown an oddball and you're in a class and there's someone that's not great at it, you can always rely on ticking those boxes and delivering the basics and all, you know, your layer one coaching, your layer two coaching and all that kind of stuff. You need to be able to rely on your foundations because you can't build anything if you don't have the foundations, right?
Yeah.
So then I would just like to add one more point to that. Yeah, put in the work, be yourself, but know that it takes time. It takes time to become a great instructor, like it does in any field.
Yeah.
It just takes time and experience. You need to go through the shit classes. You need to go to the classes where two people rock up.
Yeah.
You need to go to the classes where your mic doesn't work and you're reliant on your visual cues. You need to get a few knockbacks around your technique doesn't look great. You need to be doing ice skaters up and down the group fitness room and aim one for 4 hours.
Kylie, he's okay. He's okay, Kylie.
A little bit of a nervous twitch, but that's okay. Do you know what I mean? Like it's all positive. It's all good. It just builds you to be a better instructor.
Yeah.
And you'll be better for it. So sometimes, you just got to go, okay, I'll take that on board and I'll learn and I'll listen and I'll implement and I'll adapt. And it would just be another thing that adds to me being a great instructor.
Don't throw your toys out of the sandpit. Don't get your knickers in a twist. Just take on board the feedback and go.
So I have so much respect for Claire Thompson because she was an absolute bomb when it came to body attack. But one thing we would always say just before a workshop class or a master class is we would look at each other and go, it's just group fitness.
Yes.
We're not in the fucking Olympics. It's not like, mate, it's not like you're a do or die. Like it's just group fitness.
That's a saying that I say in the office quite a fair bit to Lee and Maddie Clark is, guys, it's okay. It's just group exercise, man. You know, if a bike doesn't go out today, it's okay. You know, if the freight company didn't get there today, it's okay. No one's going to die.
Yes.
Because it doesn't happen. Yep.
Have you ever thought about it this way quickly? It's a bit of a BK life hack. I once remember listening to a podcast and they spoke about a scale of 0 to 10, 10 being death. So if you think 10 is death and that's it, you very quickly realize that everything sits around a 1 or a 2.
Yep.
And that's how I look at things.
Yeah.
If I'm not dying, it's a 1 or a 2. It's fine.
Yeah. Hey, last question we'll teach you up with. Think about our industry. Does the industry need to change anything? If so, what?
Well, I hope I don't get myself in this shit.
Oh, there's a truth bomb coming here, people. You heard it here first. Let's go.
No. Okay. I think competition is fierce. The same amount of people are spread over a lot more facilities and options. Digitization, F45 like boutique clubs, Soul Cycle dedicated facilities, gyms, weights, CrossFit, group fitness, every kind of inspirational Instagram personal trainer that's offering programs as well. Like just there's fitness wherever you want it to be. And so competition has never been bigger. Like there's options everywhere, right? And so does the industry need to change? No, because the fitness industry is the fitness industry. We know what it is. We know what fitness is. I think what I think needs to change is, if you want to survive, you don't necessarily need to be cutting edge. You just need to have a sense of community.
Yep.
And so you can have the nicest facilities in the world, the most expensive gym in the world, but if you don't have a sense of community that people feel they belong to, they're not going to go back.
Yeah.
You're always going to have your corporates that want to train on in their lunch break and don't want to talk to anyone. That's fine, and they won't seek out the boutiques or the community, or they'll belong, but just not in that time slot.
Yeah.
But I think with competition as hard as it is, to survive in the fitness industry, you have to have that sense of community.
Yeah.
And you see that with some of these F45s that are popping up, and their commitment to like your 8-week challenge and stuff
Yes.
like that, and like a party afterwards. I see that more and more and more again.
Yeah.
I mean, like the gym that I'm a part of now, I'm like already excited for my next wine tour.
Yeah.
I'm not too worried about the workouts in between.
Yeah.
But I think the fitness industry offers everything.
Yep.
Everything you want fitness to be. If you want to do CrossFit, you want to lift heavy, there's a place for that. If you want just cardio, there's a place for that. I don't think there's anything missing.
Yep.
I just think it's around survival of what will work, and that comes from a sense of belonging and community.
Mate, thank you. Thank you for that answer as well. But mate, thank you for coming on the show. Thank you for having a chat with me and spending an hour and a bit of your night chatting to me around group exercise, mate. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. There's more about you now that I know that I didn't before, and I'm sure that people listening are going to be going, oh, wow. Yeah, okay. The same thing.
Yeah,
So,
cool.
Mate, I wish you all the best in Perth. I hope that goes really, really, really well for you, and I hope you find some classes to teach in there soon.
Oh, yeah. No, I definitely will. And thanks so much for having me on. And I love listening to your podcast, and
thank you.
highly recommend it to any instructor that's either new in the industry or has been here since day one and just wants to kind of get a bit more of an insight into, bit of a life of a group fitness instructor and trainer presenter.